Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of the Phalanx division. I am joined here by,
Eternum.
and we are going to be taking a look at the matchups for the week. A lot of fun matchups this week, including some really intense ones and really cool ones. Really looking forward to hopefully being able to kind of figure out why they were so good or why things worked out the way they did. But up first is my matchup versus SMB, where you can tell that I'm not locked in because I have the wrong avatar. I just have the default showdown avatar because I just
John
logged on.
defaulted.
Yeah,
Is it
so.
John Showdown. As I'm seeing your terror types, were you planning to fight the TBL or something? Because it feels like the most anti-rain terror types I've seen.
They're anti-sun Torkoal, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess they're waters, but like.
And then these two
Terra
grass are for they're both Terra Grass, Terra Blast for Gastrodon. So,
Oh, I see. That
as
makes
you can
sense.
tell, I am entirely prepped for these 4 Pokemon: Indeedee, Armors, Torkoal, and Gastrodon. Wordier and Exeggutor I knew could be problems because they're the 2 potentially physical attackers on his team. And seeing them both in preview, I'm like, okay, they're both physical attackers to counter the fact that I'm really trying to shut down his special attacking stuff. But yeah, I kind of went into this assuming I hadn't really looked at his individual Pokemon as much. I was kind of thinking about the team of he has a bunch of special attackers. So I have 6 different moves to decrease his special attack. 3 of which are Snarl, one's Light Screen, one's Struggle Bug, one's Eerie Impulse. So trying to decrease his special attack as much as possible. And yeah, that's what kind of was my thought process going into this. And I just lead these 2 Pokemon because my thought process is he's going to get up Trick Room, and I have Caparaja with the Room Service item, meaning when Trick Room comes up, my speed is decreased. Normally that's a pretty bad item for Caparaja because he's already so slow, but it allows him to underspeed Torkoal. So it's actually good for me here. I outspeed his entire team very handily with that, and I outspeed his entire team very handily without it, besides Torkoal.
Also, I see no nicknames SNB. We talked about this.
Oh, yeah, it's disappointing. I have the same every week, but no nicknames is rough.
Yeah, I think the same week is fine because they're the names of your members.
Yeah,
doing it every week and doing it every week can be hard.
Yeah, I think having the consistent ones, mine are based off Arcana. That's kind of the vibe, but anyways, going into this, I'm like, all right, Indeedee's probably clicking Follow Me, and then Wordier's clicking Trick Room. That's definitely what he's gonna go for in my mind. I think in my mind he needs to get up Trick Room more than I do, but I'm ready to play into Trick Room. So he switches, and that catches me off guard. I go for Knock, which is a little. Then he goes for Mega Horn. He gets a huge OHKO, and I'm like, what the frick just happened?
Called you out on that one.
I go for Snarl, and I realized I went for Snarl into 2 physical attackers this turn, so he just completely outplayed me. I did pretty much no damage, and I got rid of Exeggutor's item only, so that was a really bad turn for me. But I'm thinking, oh, he didn't get up Trick Room, right? So that's actually not bad for me. But he decides to switch back out into Indeedee. I switch into Volbeat. He Calm Mind, so I now know he's special attacking Exeggutor. I get off a lot of damage in DD, so I kind of make up some ground. But then he skill swaps me with Prankster, which is a little weird. I'm able to Struggle Bug him, weaken him a little, but he Calm Minds again, so he's now at ×2 Spadef as Indeedee goes down. But he's still in a pretty good spot here. He gets another Intimidate off, so Raj really needs to switch. He goes for Protect. Struggle Bug does a little bit of damage, but into a physical attacker, so it doesn't matter. And then he tricks the Choice Band onto my Volbeat. So that really sucks, because first of all, it gives him the Moringa Berry, which is the item I was running, where if I hit him with a special attacking move, now his special defense will increase, which is annoying because he already has a mon with increased special defense. But also it means that Volbeat, I can click one move, then I gotta switch out, because none of Volbeat's moves besides Struggle Bug I can click in a row. Like I have Tailwind, Rain Dance, and Light Screen as my other 3 moves. And once I click those once, it's literally useless to click it again. So I'm really in a bad spot here, and that was a great tech by him. So
You don't even get a choice band boost on Struggle Bug.
yeah, exactly. It's a special move. So he got me there. I go for light screen because I figure I'm gonna set light screen and switch out, and just in case he like goes for protect, because he revealed that he has protect. I don't want to like attack into that, even though he literally just clicked it, so it would have been fine. But I go for Blood Moon, and it doesn't kill Executor. So if I had gone for Struggle Bug, I think it would have killed. It would have. So I would have been in a great spot. But instead, he goes for a Giga Drain and does so much damage. So I think I would have killed, but either way, it was just terrible. I clicked Blood Moon, yeah, but I'm forced to click Earth Power because I'm Throat Chopped, meaning I can't go for Hyper Voice or Snarl, which are my two other moves, and Blood Moon I just clicked, so I can't go for that either. So I literally have to click Earth Power or switch out, and Volbeat's already locked into his move, so I need to switch him out pretty much. So I'm forced to go for Earth Power here, which increases Spit F, and then he picks up the kill and gets back up to half health. So he's in a really good spot. I thought this whole time he needed Trick Room, but he hasn't gotten Trick Room up all game, and he's been beating me, so... but in this spot, I feel like, okay, even though Armor Rouge is coming out, I have Rock Slide, I have Knockoff, I can beat him here for sure, right? But he goes Terra Grass, I go Terra Water, which Terra Water was just because I'm expecting a Fire type, I'm expecting an Armor Cannon, right? But I forgot the fact that he literally just revealed Giga Drain on Executor, so I go for Struggle Bug, he reveals Covert Cloak on Armor Rouge, meaning his special attack isn't dropped. And then he goes for Armor Cannon, but into the Volbeat. So he booms me, drains my special attack, and I go for Rock Slide, but he Terra'd, so it doesn't do that much. And so now I'm in a really bad spot, but doing a lot of damage because I'm super effective into both, and weakening his output. Even though Volbeat goes down, he's at -2 defense now. He does a little bit of damage there, but he's -2, so I should be in a spot where like I have a chance to clutch this up, right? But then he goes, because my light screen wears off, I forgot about this. I was taking 19% with light screen up. Now light screen's gone, I take 30, so he heals back out of range of my knockoff, so he's able to win it. So, well played by him. And yeah, he caught me off guard with that special attacking Executor, and with the skill swap, or with the trick Choice Band Warrior. Those were the two kind of plays that really got me, but even then it was winnable for me if I just played better, and I really didn't. So
but now a bunch of surprises have already been revealed. Let's see how game
that's
2
true
shapes things
that's
up.
true. So I am feeling a little more confident, and Samurott, arguably my best Pokemon in this matchup, just because like I hit pretty much his entire team for a lot of damage. I didn't do anything with all game pretty much, so if I'm able to make him put in a little bit more work, I feel more confident for game 2. So for game 2, I decided to go hard Trick Room on the lead because I know now that he does not need to set Trick Room. And this week I decided to lean into Trick Room instead of trying to counter it. So for this matchup, for this specific one, I thought I'm going to lean more into Trick Room on this and see how that works out for me. So we can tell based on my lead that that's what I was going for. He says Light Screen does a lot of damage with Throat Chop, but I decided not to Terra, and it actually kind of works out for me. Oh, wait, no, I don't go for Trick Room. I go for Imprison first because I want to imprison his Protect and Trick Room. So that way he can't reverse Trick Room, or if he decided to go for Trick Room this turn, it would already be up for me. So that's why I go for Imprison first. And then Terra Blast only does 26% to Warrior, which is nothing. I expected that to do a lot more damage because it's max special attack Porygon, I believe.
Yeah, he got the light screen up, so that's why.
Yeah, oh, yeah. But still, I expected it to do a little bit more damage, so I'm just kind of disappointed in that, and it makes me feel like I have to switch out here into Samurott, who's a great counter to both these Pokemon. It also counters any Psychic type attacks here. He goes for Throat Chop, but that's why I protected, because I figured he'd do that.
Switch here.
And then he switches, he goes for Follow Me, which I think this is a terrible play, honestly, because I don't know if I clicked Knockoff into the Warrior or not. I think that will be revealed whenever the video comes out. But either way, if I had clicked Knockoff into the Warrior, or if I had clicked Knockoff into the Warrior, then Executor would lose his Citrus Berry, which is much more valuable than Indeedee losing all of his health, right? You'd rather that happen. But by clicking Follow Me, he guarantees that Indeedee will die here.
Imagine being told you're less valuable in a Citrus Berry. Couldn't be me.
No, I'm saying Indeedee's more valuable than a Citrus Berry, but SMB treated it.
I see.
SMB treated it like it was less valuable. He sacrificed his Indeedee to maintain the Citrus Berry.
SNB, you paid 17 points for that thing, remember?
Yeah, maybe he tried to click the Terra, then he realized, oh wait, I can't do that.
Real.
But I decide in this situation just to go for Machigotcha for some damage, but because he switched in Executor, really didn't do anything.
No burn.
And then he gets an Intimidate off, which is good because, like, maybe that's why he wanted to switch out Warrior, just to get an Intimidate, but it means that Samurott can't Oko Warrior. Normally, at full HP, Warrior will actually live a knockoff from Samurott without Terra, which is crazy, because he invested it like that. But because he's at 74, I would kill. But because he intimidated, I don't. So now we're in a situation like pretty much where I can't Oko Warrior, but I can still do good damage to it. I decided to switch though, just to reset the Intimidate, because I figure out that I probably can't kill Warrior. So I go into Raj. He misses Side Shield Bash, which doesn't really do anything anyways. It wouldn't have done any damage. And then he goes for Giga Drain into the Samurott.
Yeah, I just want to see one Side Shield Bash on the Samurott slot. Was he expecting Porygon to come in there?
Probably. I mean, that's the only real reason he went for, or maybe he went for expected a Terra. Either way, I think this covers for me staying in or me switching, like theoretically, except into Raj, and so
yeah,
because Raj was just both these.
Yeah, I mean, if you stayed with Samurott and like didn't Terra, you just clicked nothing.
Yeah, but if he had like Terra Fighting, Terra Blasted into the slot, that would cover for all of my options actually, because Porygon or everyone besides Volbeat, I guess. So it would have been a more of an aggressive play, but something to consider. But yeah, Giga Drain does nothing, and then I can set Trick Room, which is great because I just switched in Raj, and that's kind of why I made that play, because I wanted to get Raj up in Trick Room. Even if he has Torkoal in the back, I'm still slower than it, so feel pretty confident about my position here. I switch in Porygon because I realized that Sinistcha is in a situation where he can't do anything, so I wanted to avoid, I typically want to avoid having a Pokemon that feels useless on the field, but Sinistcha was kind of feeling useless. All he did was Imprison Protect, really, and he couldn't do like any damage besides a little bit with Machigotcha, so I decided to switch him out. Yeah, because otherwise he can just kind of double Raj, and then he's in a good spot. So I switch him out, and he switches in Armarouge, as I go for Knockoff, so that's really good for me, because he switches from Psychic type to Psychic type, so I'm able to get off Knockoff. And then he Calm Minds once, but that's honestly not even that great of a play. Also, his Light Screen is now gone, so that's something to consider. I go for Rock Slide because it would pick up the kill, but it doesn't because he is Terra Grass, yep. And then I go for Eerie Impulse, so that +1 Executor is now -1 Executor. Really nice. He goes for Energy Ball into here, probably expecting a Samu switch in, and then he flinches. So either way, his only attacking move was Giga Drain. So realistically, the best case scenario for him is just getting up another Calm Mind, which doesn't change the position a whole lot. So the flinch probably didn't matter too much, but it's nice to have for sure. I go for another... I might go for Snarl here. Yeah, so this is where I reveal... or actually last turn I guess revealed it because of the Rock Slide flinch, but I am not running Sheer Force on Caparaja, and that's because I want to go for Snarl and Rock Slide. Now that means, because I'm not running Life Orb or Sheer Force, right, I'm doing way less damage than normal, like a lot less damage than normal, and that's something that I didn't really realize until like the match started, that I would be dealing that little damage compared to normal, but it didn't.
Yes,
I think the Snarl matters more here, and so that's why I decided to do it.
Yep.
Because you can see like now he's at -2 on Executor. I go for Eerie Impulse. This is -4 Executor at this point, so he is not doing anything, and he pretty much has to switch out soon. So he reverts the Trick Room, but he's forced to switch here, meaning I can kill Armarouge on switch in. He Throat Chops, which picks up the kill. I switched him in because I wanted to reverse Trick Room, but at the same time, I wanted to protect like Porygon, and I wanted a Samu switch in. I figured that once I got a kill, or either way, Warrior was going to throw... Either Warrior or Armarouge is going to kill Sinistcha when he comes in, and then I get a free Samu switch in. And a free Samu switch in is great because I can just get a kill on Warrior guaranteed, and I want that to happen, obviously. So I pick up the kill. I was going for knockoff to get rid of that citrus berry on the harvest for Executor, but it is what it is, and I pick up the kill. So now it is a 2v3, but I'm like by far the slowest thing on the field, and I have no way of setting Trick Room because I don't think actually Porygon is running it, I think, but I'm not. He's not on the field, obviously, and he doesn't have Protect on Wordier, I believe. So Samu can just get a free kill into it. So that's what I go for. Really good spot for me. He Giga Drains to 75, which is a lot because I forgot to Terra Grass. But I Snarl him, and at this point with the Terra Grass, I can just spam Snarl, and then I'm able to take him out. As you can see, he can't really do any damage to me. So I can just get him a little bit lower, and he really is in a bad spot. He's at -3, and then he can't kill, and so I'm able to take him out here with a final knockoff. So felt pretty good about that game overall.
Now with both players having revealed the bulk of their strategy, let's see how game 3 shakes things up even more.
Yeah, I mean, now, at this point, I've revealed like what my goal is with Samurott, and really it is to deal with Wordier. So as you saw, I did not. I was in a situation where Wordier was out in front of Samurott, but I'm -1, so I can't OHKO it. So I don't bring it out all game until it's in a spot where Samurott can OHKO it. I really positioned Samurott to be in a position where if it's on the field in front of Wordier, I can kill it. And that's my goal going into game 3, is to shut down that otherwise problematic Wordier by using Samurott and positioning him well. That was kind of my biggest thought process going into game 3. So I decided not to lead it though and go for the same lead, and I figured he would go for the same lead, and he did actually. But this time I'm a little bit wiser because I know kind of how the damage will play out a little bit more, and I get the Intimidate, which is nice to have. So he switches out into Torkoal right away. I Protect because I thought he was going to attack into Sinistcha with the Throat Chop, and I Air Impulse into the Indeedee. That's because I hadn't figured out at this point that Indeedee wasn't running an attacking move. But he didn't set Trick Room, meaning Torkoal's on the field, but no Trick Room's on the field. So I can very freely go for an Eerie Impulse into it. I imprison the Trick Room, so now Torkoal can't go for Trick Room, right? Or so indeed he can't go for Trick Room. I take nothing from that Eruption because I'm Heat-proof on Sinistcha this week instead of Hospitality. I don't even need to Terra in front of it because I'm already neutral into it. And it's -2. But then Indeedee can't set Trick Room, so the Imprison was really good. Can't even Protect, so he's in a situation where both of these guys can't do any damage. He kind of has to switch Torkoal, so I'm in a pretty good spot at this point. Armrouge comes in, I switch in Samurott, and he switches in Wordier. So a little annoying because my goal is to get Samurott in a spot where he can kill Wordier, obviously, as I just mentioned. But I'm not in that spot because I'm -1. Even if I weren't -1, I wouldn't be able to OHKO it. So a little bit annoying. That's how the speed works out for me. But Machagacha is able to get... Actually, it misses, Wordier. So I can't really do anything with that. And I immediately switch out Samurott because, again, I only want to be in a spot where I can kill Wordier. I don't want it to be in a spot where I can get Mega Horned and I die, like game 1. I'm really paranoid of that. So I position it well. I get off another Intimidate from the Trace, which is nice, even though tracing the Flash Fire would have been great for Torkoal. Tracing Intimidate's fine too. Protecting the Armor Camera is great. That's kind of what I was going for. I knew that he was going to overcommit on this turn, and he did, so that was really good. He wasted his Terra, and he didn't do much damage at all, so works out for me. E-Force puts me very low, but I eat the Citrus Berry, meaning I can live a Mega Horn because he doesn't go for Throat Chop. Probably because a switch in is possible.
Yeah, he's locked into Mega Horn, yeah.
Oh, he's locked in. Yeah. Choice Band. Yeah, you're right. So he has to go for it. But I'm able to live because of that Citrus Berry. Eerie Impulse makes Armrouge in a really bad spot, and I'm finally able to set Trick Room, meaning Raj in the back is in a really good spot. So I switch him in right away because Sinistcha is very low, and I recover, so now I have the bulk to withstand an attack. And he goes for Energy Ball, which is great. Probably expecting a Samu switch in, maybe? Or a Terra Water on... I don't even know what he was expecting
just trying
there.
To finish. I think just a safe move to finish the Sinistcha with.
Without lowering his special attack, maybe?
Yeah.
And it would still do a lot into Samu.
Covers for Samu because E-forcing that thing would just make it a potential Samurott entry pointer.
Yeah, and he wasn't expecting the Eerie Impulse, I imagine.
Yep. And also
So,
maybe also covered for like a Luna in the back.
yeah.
Like if it
So he says Psychic Terrain and switches out into Torkoal because Trick Room is up. But I go for knockoff, just Oko and DD on switch in. Really nice. And I Eerie Impulse the Torkoal. So Torkoal just hit the field and he's already useless. So that's really good. I go for Terra Water, meaning that, and I go for Rock Slide. So either he flinches or he gets off an attack and still doesn't do any damage. So I go for Eerie Impulse into Arm Rouge too to cover for Arm Rouge going for the attack, which is actually what he goes for here. He goes for Helping Hand into the Arm Rouge, and the Eerie Impulse means that while I'm not able to live on that, the Raj is able to take that pretty well, and Porygon going down here is not actually that big of a deal for me. He switches in Word Ear, and then I'm able to Snarl, get that Arm Rouge now -2, or he's still -2 because he's Covert Cloak, I forgot.
Cloak. Yeah.
Cinch is able to get up a little bit of health back, which is nice. And then Energy Balls into it, which is great for me because also Trick Room does in fact end at this point. Just something to note that's important. Cinches, it barely goes down, but Raj barely holds on, meaning I can put Warder down to 1%, but Warder is still alive. Means he could switch out and set up another Intimidate if he wants. But he doesn't have a good play here because I can go for Snarl on Samurott always, and that can kill both. And there's kind of nothing he can do about it. So he sends out Torkoal just to reset that Intimidate. But Torkoal's now at -1. Energy Ball doesn't even kill. And I put Arm Rouge very low within range of Snarl, which is notable. If I had a Terra Grass here, it would have been good. But
feels like you should have targeted the elephant there.
What?
Because to finish it off. Feels like you should have finished off the elephant there. Instead of taking the Samurott.
Oh, the...
Yeah. SNB. I'm talking about SNB. Felt like you should have energy balled into the elephant instead of Samurott.
I think that might have made sense, but I think he also figured that Wordier was in a spot where he can't kill Samurott, so Armor Rouge is the only thing that really can. So if he's gonna kill Samurott, it has to be Armor Rouge.
I see.
I guess it makes sense, honestly, just because Wordier gets outsped, Torkoal gets outsped, and I think the play maybe was just to let Wordier go down. I don't even know because Torkoal could survive an attack. Because
I think the play was switching our Marouge out for Wordier to get the Intimidate off.
Well, they were on the field at the same time.
I see. I see. You couldn't. Yeah, I see. You couldn't do that.
But in the spot, the sun ends. I'm able to Snarl and get Torkoal down quite low, but he's able to pick up the kill on the Raj. He wouldn't be able to pick up the kill on Samurott, and Raj would have picked up the kill on Torkoal, so it makes sense. But it means that at this -1, I'm able to Snarl for the kill, and I win the set. One thing I want to note. I decided not to run Min Special Attack Samurott, even though he's a physical attacker generally, because of Snarl. I wanted Snarl to do an extra little bit of damage. I put 4 EVs in it and not a negative nature. 31 IV, right? If I'd run Min Special Attack, I would have lost that game. Because I barely killed Torkoal there. Like, it was a guaranteed kill, but just barely a guaranteed kill. So, very, very glad I didn't do that. And that was a really fun set against SMB. I think we both played pretty well.
Yeah, both of you guys going to distance.
Yeah, and he really surprised me. I think there were a lot of plays where, especially game 1, where I just felt like I wasn't playing up to snuff, but he definitely put up a good performance. So that was a fun set. And now let's look at Soup versus Wa. By the way, this stream might be a little bit longer than last week's, because last week's were entirely 2-0 matchups, so just something to note. But this week we've already saw that that's not the case. But yeah, let's take a look at this matchup, and Wa making his first appearance in season 3 of Phalanx. So we're gonna watch from his perspective. But yeah, I think also real quick the Terra types are always funny to look at, just because like Terra Bug naturally seems really weird, but it makes a lot of sense because he's looking out for the ground on Garchomp specifically. Terra Flying again probably for the ground on Garchomp. Terra Ground probably to deal with maybe the ground on Garchomp as well, or a Terra Ground attack.
Or perhaps something that didn't come into the match. Sometimes it covers for stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think Wah had a good Pokemon he left behind. I can't remember who, but also the fire makes a lot of sense on Hydrapple because the ice moves that are typical, especially from something like Milotic. And then all these are pretty standard. I commented that I don't think it showed up yet, but they're very like aesthetic, like the colors of them.
Yeah.
But the Terra Ghosts to deal with the fake out. Oh wait, he doesn't have fake out. Maybe he had fake out and didn't bring it, but maybe it's also for it's for the E-Speed. That's what it is. It's for the E-Speed on Dragonite. Then Terra Fairy is just like a great defensive type on a water type, which is already a good defensive type. So you can just really there's nothing that hits this super or that can hit the Fairy super effectively besides Empoleon theoretically. Fire makes a lot of sense because you are immune to ground, and then Poison is to deal with Fairy and like ice or something like that. So you resist Fairy while not having the ice weakness. Makes a lot of sense all around. And you don't want to open yourself up to like the fire and fighting moves of Blaziken that you would be weak to if you went to Steel. So very logical in the Terras. And then this is a pretty fun lead because Sneasel's going for fake out, presumably, right? And so he protects the Dragonite because he doesn't want to lose his multi-scale if he has it, or just he doesn't want to waste his turn.
Doesn't yeah.
Actually, he don't, if he's inner focus, he doesn't want to reveal it, probably.
Yeah, probably because like that's the Arcanine. Because if he's inner focus, now he knows that Arcanine is not as safe.
Yeah, and so I think that makes a lot of sense. But Toxic Spikes is a really funny play, and then Feather Dance, but it reveals Clear Amulet, which Feather Dance would have been a really good play, but the Clear Amulet works really well in Wild's favor here.
Yeah, great turn one for Wah.
Yeah, works out very well. Fergraph already poisoned. Blaziken detects. He doesn't set another layer of spikes. Instead, he actually doubles the Blaziken, probably assuming it's Sash, and covering for switch-in. But very unfortunate that he doesn't go for another layer there because that means anyone else coming in is going to be toxic.
Also, pretty scary. Stomping Trent up at 150 base power now.
Oh, yeah. Because it failed last turn. Yeah, so it's doubles. Yeah. The feint into Sneasel is such cool tech. It does 36, which is a lot because of the crit.
It's on the crit.
It also reveals that it might not be Eviolite on Sneasel, or just maybe not running anything bulky. I'm not sure, but either way, it's like better quick attack.
I mean, I have the Watt team build. I don't think that thing was Eviolite.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense not running it, just because it's pretty frail anyways. And then Feint is like just better quick attack because it breaks protect as well. I think that's pretty cool. Goes for Throat Chop into the Frig, and he actually just doubles the Frig on switch in, so it or not before it can move. I mean,
yeah, I think he deduced that base game was a support set, so like base game is not that threatening.
He goes the double feint. Sneasel's also running feint, so the double feint here is hilarious.
Might be a stomping tantrum coming on that base skin if he fainted that thing.
Oh, yep. And there goes Blaziken. And then Ice Beam, but into the Terra Poison, so great play by Wah all around. Feint, and then Dragon Claw means even if it were multi-scale, it is now dead. And then a Yawn by Empoleon, but it's Empoleon versus the world, so it's pretty unwinnable here. Maybe going for Ice Beam freezes, but either way, it feels like a very easy game to clean up for Wah, and does reveal the Citrus Berry on Empoleon. Whereas Wah has revealed his entire moveset on Sneasel and the fact that he has a weird Toxic Spikes. Other than that, Clear Amulet on Garchomp is the only other thing he really revealed, because Dragon Claw and Stomping and Protect are all normal.
And now that Soup has revealed that he has a support Blaziken.
Yeah, which is really, because he can only have one of either Close Combat or Flare Blitz now. He can't have both. Yeah. Something very important to note. And he revealed like Yawn on Empoleon and its item. He didn't reveal actually anything on Frig or Dragonite, but he revealed he is likely multi-scale based on the way he played. It's hard to say though, because he could be bluffing.
Might be a big bluff that could pay off.
So yeah, we'll see how they adapt for game 2, and it's an immediate Frig Dragonite lead versus Garchomp and Sneasel once again. So
fake out
a
there.
switch out right away as throat chop into Frigg is great because, so this is Wa knowing his opponent because Soup runs a very special attacking and aggressive Farigiraf when Farigiraf is more commonly used as a support Pokemon. He runs it's very strong as well, but he goes for like one Hyper Voice and Throat Spray, and then it sets him up for Farigiraf to be a real offensive threat. And he's actually towards the top of the MVP leaderboard because of that. So, good note on that part. And then a great switch in here from the dragon type to bait the dragon type move into Whimsicott for the immunity. And Trick Room does come up, so he doesn't catch him on a Hyper Voice there. But it also means that Hydrop was able to come in pretty handily.
And
pretty
Dragon
freely.
Chain Super Sweet Syrup.
Yeah. I think this means that Leaf Storm and Draco cannot miss, and they'll always crit.
Yeah.
So that's a really scary situation. And Terra's available, right?
And under Trick Room.
Huh?
And he's under Trick Room,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Hydrapple is the fastest thing about it.
So he's just in Hydrapple's in a great spot here, and he didn't take a poison jab, so that's really good. And then Whimsicott reverses the Trick Room, which is a really good play there.
And Hydrapple protects.
E-Speed does a lot, but Charm is really good too. Good protect on that poison jab. Arcanine comes out.
And it's not intimidated.
It's no intimidate on Arcanine.
Possibly Flash Fire.
Or Justified to pair with like a feint or something.
Yep.
No, feint wouldn't do that. Yeah.
He does not beat up on the Sneasel.
He must have beat up on the
Maybe
Whimsicott. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Poison jab does just or exactly half, and Hydrop was able to spam Draco at this point, though he is not in Trick Room, so that's a little annoying. Nice little switch in and protect, very safe kind of play all around, as Draco comes out into the Chomp and does nothing. Terra Poison, meaning he can probably live, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Stomping into the Follow Me, so Follow Me feels quite wasted there.
Yeah, make sure to get the bus dies. And Draco,
it does kill, actually. Wow, even with the Terra. So that is a really good play for Soup because he's able to pick it up still. Terra Fire, and Frick goes down. So Terra Fire, Terra Blast, great play into the Whimsicott, but Oka Berry's huge. And he sets Trick Room, expecting a Trick Room from Frigg, but he killed the Frigg with Crunch. So, big misplay by Wa, because he should have gone for an attacking move into the Hydrapple if he was, or just not Trick Room. But either way,
or just kill the Hydra and
doing
then,
both
and
of
then
those
we
things was a huge mistake now, because Hydrapple's in a great spot to sweep the rest of this game. Helping Hand, probably not even E-Speed, so Terra Blast picks up a kill. And Scale Shot does a lot, but will not kill unless there's a crit. Arcanine can get off one attack. And it reveals the Mirror Herb, which is actually bad for him because of Trick Room. And Draco picks up the kill. Also, I would imagine it's not E-Speed Arcanine, because E-Speed would have been good for picking up the kill on Hydrapple just to help with differential. Maybe he didn't want to reveal it, but typically the differential's worth it, revealing that one move. But I don't know. So let's move on to game 3 and see if their strategies change at all. Electabuzz is a different lead, but Farigiraf as well. And the same lead all 3 games from Wa. Terra Bug on that Follow Me means it will live the stomping easily. And Twin Beam is a great move on Farigiraf.
He's always down.
Yes, I love Twin Beam on Frigg just because it really catches those Sash Pokemon off guard. Even though it's a very weak move, Sneasel has terrible special F, and it's 4 times weak, and it's a stab move. So that thing is easily killing. I mean, it brought him down to Sash after one of the 2 attacks, and it's a 40 base power move. So really, really good play by Soup there. He gets, all he loses is 14% and Toxic Spike for a kill on a really annoying Pokemon. So he does commit his Terra, but still, good play. Electabuzz easily tanks that. Electroweb comes out, which actually not a great play here. Maybe expecting a Terra. And Twin Beam does a little, but not much. As Thunderbolt puts Electabuzz quite low. Kind of forced to switch out here, as Wad makes a switch of his own into Whimsicott. Good switch on Soup's side because of the Steel typing on Empoleon, and then Twin Beam does just under half to Whimsicott. He goes for Helping Hand into Chomp, probably a Stomping here, and a good Protect on the Stomping. And then imprison Farig, so he can comfortably get up in prison, or get up a Trick Room now without Whimsicott being able to reverse it.
Do watch out for a start for a 150 Stomping Tantrum plus Helping Hand on the Fairy.
Yeah, but it is a switch in of the Hydra Apple who resists the stomping and it will be great in the Trick Room that's almost certainly coming up this turn. And the Helping Hand, and it is the Helping Hand stomping, but Hydra Apple tanks that. And it's not in Trick Room this turn. Trick Room would have been a great play here because Hydra Apple would have been in a really good spot. He could have ripped a Draco here, right? Garchomp could protect theoretically, but if Farig has protect on him, then it's just you sack Vikavolt or sack Garchomp. Maybe it'll live if you Terra it, but yeah, really it would be a really good situation for Soup if Trick Room were up here, but it is not, and that's something to note. Protect on Hydra Apple makes sense because the Helping Hand Dragon Claw comes out into it, and still no Trick Room, though a Twin Beam again. Really surprising here. Maybe because Vikavolt underspeeds Hydra Apple by 1. That's probably the thought process. And he's already committed the Terra. That does make sense then, I guess. Empoleon comes out, and Dragon Claw does nothing into a good switch in there. Twin Beam puts Vikavolt at 1/4 of his health, but he's able to OHKO Farigiraf with a Bug Buzz. That's showing how strong this Vikavolt is here because...
And Electabuzz only has 1 turn because of Toxic Spikes him.
Oh yeah, Electabuzz is now on a timer here, so a really bad situation for it. Goes for Follow Me just to get some value, makes sense. And then a Yawn comes out into Garchomp, revealing he does not have an Ice type. If he had Ice Beam here, Garchomp would... Wait, no, he did have Ice Beam, didn't he?
He did. I think he expected Terra.
He must have expected a Terra. But...
Or a Protector.
Yeah, that's... Well, he goes for Yawn into that slot anyways. So yeah, must have been expecting a Terra. But he goes down now, and it's just Hydra Apple versus the world. Waiting for Garchomp to fall asleep does make a lot of sense. Hydra Apple should theoretically be faster than the Vikavolt, and could probably pick up a kill with Draco here. But he goes for Draco into Garchomp instead, which is like a differential play. Maybe he thought that it wouldn't kill Garchomp once if he were already at -2. Actually, no, he expected... I think
protect from Vikavolt.
Yeah. So that was I think a pretty poor play by Soup because he's in a situation here where if he can get off 2 Dracos, Garchomp goes down, meaning if he just gets lucky on sleep turns, or if he gets a crit or something like that. And I assume he's Scope Lens because he's going for the Dragon Cheer strategy, right? Yeah. So, probably. Assuming he's Scope Lens, he actually has a 1 in 4 crit chance, which is really not bad odds.
Or maybe if like Terra Blast killed Vikavolt, like standard Terra Blast, maybe.
Well, he couldn't because he had already Terra Bugged.
No, not like standard Terra Blast. I mean.
Oh yeah. If he didn't, if he could have killed Vikavolt another way, then sure. But either way, the attacking to Vikavolt was the play there, so a little bit unfortunate. Yeah. Also, Y is in the chat and reveals that he was AV on Vikavolt, so he almost definitely would have needed a Draco to kill. Yeah. But
so valid effort from Super though, like lost a 4-0 and went the distance to game 3.
Yeah.
He took the whole thing despite the rough game.
I mean, game 1 looked like Y just had it in the bag, and then this game was a little bit closer, but Soup won pretty handily. Then Soup made it very close, almost actually won Game 3. So, very impressive performance, and I will continue to say what I have said all season so far. Soup is significantly better than his record suggests. He has lost, and I will say what I've said all season in the sense that he is the best player at adapting because he's kind of infamous now at this point for losing game 1 in a pretty bad situation where it looks like, okay, he's just going to get destroyed. And then he either wins game 2 or 3 or makes it really close. And he just switches things up a lot, plays so much better, and it's like a completely different player almost. So I'm very impressed with him and his consistent ability to be able to adapt so well, even against really tough opponents like Wah, who, as you saw, I mean, he had a great team here. He ended up winning, but Soup still looked really good. And so I think that's a pretty impressive skill of Soup's, and I think it means that as we move on to the second half of the season, I wouldn't be surprised to see him kind of start translating those almost wins into wins. I would not be surprised by that at all. So let's move on to our next matchup, which is Pilza versus Saibon. Pretty interesting matchup. I think this is a pretty funny just team preview because it looks like a bunch of good Pokemon that don't have a ton of synergy outside of like duos. And
just team build a bunch of teams.
Yeah, like it looks like the
This is
core,
just a bunch of
different
mods.
cores.
What's a core? It's just a bunch of mods. It's so funny to see.
Well, Saibon has
like
three very obvious duos: Slacking, Weezing, Mamoswine, Rotom, and then Clefable, Basculegion. Very, very obvious duos with obvious strategies.
I got a little bit too familiar with Rotom, Mamoswine.
Discharge and EQ
It's
just
quick.
yeah.
I said I got a little bit too familiar.
Oh, I thought you said I'm not too familiar.
I was. I got a little bit too familiar this time.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a pretty annoying 2-2-2 team, whereas Pills is going for more of a Trick Room team, but pretty interesting all around. So we'll see how it pans out. And it's Shift-Free Mimikyu on the lead, meaning you could be going in a lot of directions, and very kind of standard lead here. And it's a switch out, yet he goes for Discharge and Earthquake here, which is really weird because Shiftry's on the field. Shiftry would have been really good in this situation if he had gone for this move. Shiftry would have resisted both attacks, would have been able to get off a big attack and a Mamo.
Yeah.
I assume he
you
was
didn't
just
take
predicting
out
a switch. Or
Afraid
what?
of overrated. I think it was afraid of overrated.
Probably. I think if it's Covert Cloak on Rotom, then like a fake out would be really bad. Other than that, like Icicle Crash maybe. Though it could be a speed tie actually.
Or even a nice shard could hurt.
Yeah. So I think it's a reasonable play to switch out here, but Saibon kind of making an aggressive play turn one of just ripping the two attacks. And Mimikyu goes for Trick Room, so not a bad situation here. Goes for Terra Fighting and Life Dews, heals it back up a little bit, which is kind of weird, because he goes for Drain Punch. So I think Clefairy was mainly interested in healing himself, right? But he healed himself just to heal himself again, so he overheals, and feels like Clefairy pretty much wastes his turn. Not super great. But Earthquake comes out, puts Clefairy up quite low again, and Discharge is able to pick up the kill and put Mimikyu back in the mid-yellows. So Protect on Gambit here. Ice Shard doesn't quite kill Mimikyu, but he probably knows Mamoswine is going down here, so he goes for that. And then just another Discharge on Rotom's end, which picks up the Mimikyu. So I'm assuming this is Specs on Rotom, because he stayed on just Terra Electric and is just clicking Discharge. That's my thought process. But maybe he's just maybe Rotom's stronger than I'm giving him credit for. And then Shifter comes in, which is not great in Trick Room, revealing that it's probably not Araquanid in the back would be my guess, because I doubt Araquanid would come. Or maybe he's just scared of Rotom. Maybe he's just scared of Rotom.
Yeah, no, there's no Araquanid in the back. I mean, all four mods are already revealed.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Gambit and Shiftry.
You're right. Clefable comes out here, takes a Kowtow, so expecting a Terra or a Switch. Really unfortunate play. Hard read on Pills' end, which doesn't work out at all.
Yeah, kind of a how or nothing play.
Yeah, I think it was Terra Electric, so would have resisted that Steel type attack, which... Or maybe he was...
But he couldn't Terra. Rotom's already Terra'd.
Yeah, so probably expecting a switch into Bascu, then, would be my guess.
But feels like he would have sent Basculegion in advance if he wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think either way it was not a great play, I would agree. Kowtow and a Rotom makes sense, Ironhead into Clefable makes sense, but this doesn't really. And then Overheat misses the Gambit, which is really good, because Rotom goes down to very low because of the Endeavor on Shiftry. Pretty cool. Probably Sash Endeavor on Shiftry. I like the tech. A Protect on Shiftry now to stall at the last turn of Trick Room, as Ironhead does come out into Clefable. So Clefable would be dead here if he had gone for Ironhead last turn. But instead, it's a Thunderbolt into Shiftry, not another
it's not
Overheat
Specs.
Into...
Well, also reveals that it's in fact not Specs.
It revealed that when it went for Overheat, but
yeah,
it should have gone for Overheat into Gambit, I think would have made more sense.
It did go for Gambit. It did go for Overheat on Gambit last turn.
Yeah, but it didn't this turn.
Yeah,
I'm saying it should have gone for it again.
You expected Gambit to play defensively, perhaps?
Probably. I think it makes sense. But now Trick Room is gone. Follow Me comes out. Leaf Blade does not kill Clefable. Really sucks. Though Clefable does die to that, meaning Gambit is able to pick up the kill here and make it a 1v1. Depending on who the last is, this could be big. But it's Basket Legion. Last Strikes does not kill, but neither does Kowtow, and that's really bad. I think...
No Sucker Puncher? Oh yeah, Aqua Jetta.
In prep here, yeah, even if he were Sucker, which he's not, it wouldn't matter. But I think in prep I forget what item they went with on Gambit. I didn't help as much this week as I normally do with like pills and charcoal, but we were considering black glasses, and that would have meant that would have killed. So
yeah,
really unfortunate. I think it went Chopple on the Gambit for slacking, but not a great item, but it is what it is. Really unfortunate loss there. It felt like quite winnable, and Pilsel did not play poorly necessarily, just didn't play great, and had a few big mess ups, which was the real problem. Double Edge immediately into Gliscor, as Gliscor high horsepower is over half to Weezing. Weezing is able to pick up the kill on Gliscor, but fun fact, Disguise is unaffected by neutralizing gas, so Mimikyu's Disguise just busts, and he's able to set up a Trick Room very easily. Clefairy comes out here, feels like a bit of a passive move, but he goes for Tickle into the slacking on the Drain Punch. So, Drain Punch does quite a bit, but slacking's still definitely alive, and does a decent bit back to Mimikyu. So, a Protect here makes sense, which is what he goes for. D-Gleam does a lot to Mimikyu, who's actually not able to underspeed, and the Protect means that Mimikyu's not able to go for the Willow. Willow probably expecting a Bask switch in, but also would be fine if he didn't switch in. Double Edge wouldn't make, or covering for a Mamos or Bask switch in as well.
I feel like covering for a Mamo switching Drain Punch would still have been fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the best Legion.
It's probably for both of them. And staying in, it would have been fine too. Anything other than Protect or Terra.
I think Terra. Yes, I think Terra, right?
Terra Fire.
Yeah, Fire. They would have changed that thing.
So I think it's not an unreasonable play, but the Protect was pretty obvious. So
yeah, covering from a hard for a hard Bask.
And here it feels very easy to go for either Will-O-Wisp again or a Drain Punch, and then just a Iron Head into the Weezing, which is what he goes for. But it's Babiri Berry, meaning Weezing lives and is able to pick up the kill. That was a great play there, or a great tech there. Drain Punch does not kill because of the Triple Berry, which is nice. But without either of those berries, it would have been a great turn for Pilza. Double Protect to start the last turn of Trick Room means Life Dew is by far the best play here, which is what he goes for. So he's in a bit of a weird spot now. Heavy Slam does not pick up the kill on Clefairy, but Dazzling Gleam cannot be stopped. As Low Kick on Slacking, and yeah, so this would have been a really good situation to click Life Dew here, but he was afraid of the Drain Punch into the Gambit, which does make some sense. Terra Ground on Mammoth Spine just for fun, but either way, this game is as good as over. And this felt a lot closer than it ended up being, but Pilza he said it himself, he did kind of get outplayed here. It felt like Saibon just been playing very well. Something I've noted about Saibon is that I don't think his team is honestly that strong. I think it's a pretty good team. It's not a bad team, but as compared to the other teams in the league, it might honestly be below average in strength. I think he's just playing it very well. So I think that's this is yet another example of him winning because he outplayed his opponent, which is a testament to his skill as a player. I'm saying that it's impressive for someone to be able to win like this despite having maybe a worse team or having a bad matchup at times.
Yeah, I gotta say that Saibon, I admit that my most embarrassing defeat in this entire draft.
Yeah, that matchup was
Saibon
like he made you look really bad, and you're a great player, so that's how it shows how good he was, or how good he is. No offense to you.
Yeah, man.
You are a good player. And speaking of you, actually, I didn't know if your matchup was next or not. I was guessing, but I guessed right. So, what were you thinking kind of going into this match? And I'll let you kind of take the reins with commentating.
Alright, so basically, I kind of called out his entire team. Like I was saying, he's not bringing both waters because of Killer Watchol. And I checked this guy. I checked Sirius's like lineups from other weeks, and he really tends to really love this lineup of 6. with like one of the waters, and I expected Gyarados over Primarina because Terrados could have been scary, but I was prepared for Primarina anyway. Like my Greninja was Gong Shot despite being special, like Life Orb. So like, I always did that fat Gong Shot on Prim. Also, I did analyze his games from his other matches, and he really liked going for his Drift Blim Rillaboom duo.
Yeah, that's...
Drift Blim Rillaboom duo. He likes having this Infernape Metagross duo.
Oh.
So like I aim to counter this. Like if I remember correctly, I can pull up my team on my own tab. I'll give me just a second.
One quick note is that the Rillaboom Drifloon duo is really his only form of speed control. He does technically have Trick Room as an option on Metagross. Other than that, really it's just the Rillaboom, and then Drifloon is needed for that Tailwind with Unburden, and so he's kind of forced to bring that every week, and he leads it the vast majority of the time, so very easy to call that out.
Yeah, so also I made sure most of my Muns outspeed Infernape, max speed Infernape, because I like my Espeon outspeeds max speed Infernape, my Kilowatt Roll, and my Greninja also outspeed it. My Snorlax is also Grassy Seed.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool because you're anticipating the Rillaboom to be brought like every matchup, not just be brought to the set, probably brought every matchup as well.
Every match. So like Rocky Helm, I'm Amoonguss, Focus Sash Espeons because I would Terra Ghost, so like I'm immune to Fake Out and I can get 2 attacks in. Because this is a very offensive Espeon. Like this is my team is extremely offensive. My only form of defensive play is Amoonguss or go to the long game with Snorlax and Curse because it was like Curse Lax with Grassy Seed.
And yeah, I like how you have 3 out of 4 mons that can Terra with Terra Ghost just to deal with the 2 Fake Out users. And the other one being Kilo. What was the Terra Fire for?
To be a counter to Ice Shard on Bax.
Got you.
Also, I still resist Grassy Glide, and Primarina doesn't really threaten me with our move since I'm
yeah, it's smart. I like that.
Also helps against Infernape. If offensive Infernape, I only can take a fire move because I'm flying type. And Bullet Punch, I still have Bullet Punch resist, so like Terra Fire was just... Oh yeah, Terra Fire was also like to threaten Terra Blast with Metagross. I don't actually have Terra Blast.
But it's just to make
threat, yeah, just the threat of it.
Because that was actually one of my first thoughts. I wanted to let you talk, obviously, but my first thought was like, he might be running Terra Blast on this thing because it would be good into Rillaboom and Metagross. So like, it even faked me out, so I think it's a pretty good bring here. I like running some of those Terra types. Like that. Also, one thing of note for Oedipus, he does have Terra types on these 2 Pokemon, but they are not allowed to Terra.
I remind people in chat every time I see them having a Terra type that isn't their stab.
Yeah, Stellar just I think makes the most sense because it's like a visual. I think whenever you're running Terra Stellar, because it's so glittery, it's like it feels like a big deal to click it.
Yeah, it's so glittery, and even then, like even if you click it, you don't change defensively, which is where you use your Terra anyway.
Yeah, so...
For these 2, like if you forget you can't Terra, you just Stellar and still die to the move.
Yeah, so I think Terra Stellar makes the most sense, but just something to note.
Yeah.
And let's peep the lead, and this makes a lot of sense here, and just goes to the same lead that he's been going for.
The dog with the rock on him. Dog.
The
dog with the rock on him.
That's good.
Also, yeah, I expected this lead.
Yeah, this is the lead everyone should expect when they go against him. Fake Out makes sense. Tailwind makes sense. You get your own Tailwind and no Covert Cloak, so just not a bad turn for you, honestly.
Not yet, at least. It's Clear Amulet and Covert Cloak, so I'm frankly immune to Icy Wind.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so Covert Cloak on the Kilowatt Roll makes a lot of sense on it, just so you can get up the Tailwind.
That's why I thought Terra Ghost, because I put the Covert Cloak on it for the Terra Ghost, for the Fake Out immunity.
And then,
Clear Amulet because
Icy Wind is
I was expecting Gyarados, that's why I have the Clear Amulet.
Oh, gosh, it makes sense. And then the Air Slash is a good bit, and then Rock Slide is not able to pick up the kill, and does not do that much in Drifloon because of the Grassy Seed, but...
Yeah.
But Rillaboom kind of has to switch out here. Icy Winds again just to get some damage on Kilo, and it does crit, but you're able to pick up the kill very easily, and you get a free attack in the backs, though you give him an attack boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rock Slide would have been nice there, but it is what it is. Snorlax comes out, gets that defense boost, which is quite nice. Protect here does make some sense. Protect from backs. And if he's Throat Spray, this actually does work out. And he is.
Yeah.
So.
Liquid Voice Spray is really good.
The only
So yeah,
problem
Arcanine is pretty threatened by that right now.
the only problem though is that Arcanine does have Rock Slide and outspeeds both.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a bit of an issue for him to address. Terrafairy back is probably for that reason, but Flare Blitz picks up the kill.
Yeah, I just tried to kill the bag split before he got out of hand.
Yeah. And you go down, but you're able to do quite a bit of damage. And it is a 2v3, and Rillaboom's at 8, so pretty good spot for you. The Terra Ghost makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Rocky Helmet. Oh, wow, you die.
Yeah, that's a big win.
But Kilowattrel.
Kilowattrel, yeah, Kilowattrel just ends it.
And there it goes. Nice.
Yeah, that's gonna keep my Kilowattrel in the bag because I knew that being the fastest one on the field would help.
Well, and even if these guys are both at full health, they're both weak to Kilowattrel, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you can kill Bax or get him even low enough, like within Air Slash or Thunderbolt range, then Kilowattrel can very easily win this game for you.
Yeah.
So, well played there, and let's move on to game
I
two.
decided to shake up my lead this time.
It's a Mungus Espeon. That's a pretty good lead, and he really shakes up his lead as well.
That's the other lead I expected.
So
I kind of called out like, oh, he's gonna go for the Metagross for an AP since he's really scared of the double of the Arcanine Kilowattrel lead again.
Yeah, and so that really good way to kind of deal with what he ends up going for here. And the Terra Ghost makes sense for the fake out, but he does attack into the right slot. Shadow Ball, oh, goes the Metagross. Wow, because the Terra Ghost. Very nice play there. And you're immediately in a great spot. It reveals the clear amulet on Bax, but also Infernape is now at -1. Psychic Terrain comes out. Cool. I like that tech a lot because no fake out, no feint, no Ice Shard, none of that business. Rillaboom also might be more tempted to come in too.
Yeah. It's kind of forced to come in, but like I have the Arcanine on the field, so he might be really scared to do that.
Yeah, but you also do have two. He does have two Mons weak to Rock, and you have Rock Slide, so that's another thing.
Incredible position there.
Yeah, I feel like you are in a really good spot. Expanding Force also just picks up the kill on the fighting type. Close combat, because you don't want to risk the miss, I guess, or.
Nah, Flare Blitz. I didn't want to take some recall.
Oh wow, Grassy Glide does a lot, but doesn't matter because Flare Blitz just wins it, and very easy win for you.
The Espeon was Sash. It always lived.
Yeah, very, very, very easy.
I'm really proud of that Psychic Terrain play.
Yeah, I think that it made him want to switch him, but he kind of couldn't, and
yeah,
I think
like,
the E-Force meant that it did so much. The E-Force did so much damage in that Psychic Terrain. So
yeah,
I think that was a very well played set by you.
Thank you.
Good performance. Now let's move to TBL and Alberto, our penultimate matchup. We can see just very standard Terra types all around. I'll watch from Alberto's perspective because I always watch from who I'm rooting for, or if I'm co-commentating with someone, then them. Because I'm always rooting against you, obviously, Eterno. I'm just kidding. But we see pretty standard, very very colorful Terra types, right? Just like the same colors over and over again. But pretty interesting matchup because we have
Terra Dragon on the Gorlook is pretty nice, and Terra Ice on the PC.
I like Terra Ice Blizzard adaptability Blizzard, something that Alberto mentioned to me when he decided that he wanted to pick up Porygon. I think one of us suggested it as a strong special attacker, but he saw the potential of that, of just like all those damage multipliers of the adaptability plus the Terra plus specs and plus max special attack.
Let's see if that pays off. Huh?
Yeah, and then the Terra Dragon here just for the so you're not weak to ground or sorry, not weak to grass or water, makes sense on that Golurk. So yeah. Masquerain and Mouthhold in the lead, just very interesting, and a very fast lead versus a pretty fast lead versus a very slow lead, and immediately Sash and Wild Lens are revealed, meaning Mouthhold's probably Pop Bomb, and Masquerain just makes sense running Sash on that thing. Follow Me is a little bit of an interesting play with Tailwind. I think Tailwind's a very poor play here because you have two really slow Pokemon that both know Trick Room. I think Tailwind doesn't make any sense here.
Yeah, no.
Chilly
Really like the
Reception
Trick
means
comes up.
free snow setup, and Trick Room comes up. Really, really bad
Oh,
spot for
hard
TBL.
shotgun. Oh, that's a bad spot. That PZ might actually get those blizzards off now.
Yeah, really good spot. And with the Terra
Here
Ice,
they come. And
Nightshade comes out to
Sasha.
break Sash, and boom, Porygon just easy Okos into 2 frail Pokemon.
Absolute overkill.
And adaptability is really scary. With the helping hand, too. Aqua Jet does pretty much nothing, and very, very fast win for Alberto with that helping hand. Wow. And so TBL drops very, very quickly that set. Just kind of not enough. I think the Tailwind on the Trick Room was a pretty rough play, but it is what it is.
Let's see if they adapt to this. Let's see if they adapt to this. Like,
yeah, let's see how TBL.
Yeah, that trick is spent.
So it is a Mouse Hold Annihilate lead this time.
Mouse Ape lead and
Ninetales Talon
faster
Flame. Okay,
lead.
yeah, so goes for a Tailwind immediately. Sets up AV, really nice. But Talon Flame is going to live, and it's Gale Wings, not Flame Body. Yeah. Makes sense. Though Flame Body would have been good here. And actually, Talon Flame is way lower than I expected, but a Bulk Up on Annihilate is a little weird. The Hurricane. Oh, it's a special attacking Talon Flame. Really, really good because.
And Lumberry spent because of the confusion.
Yeah, and that's really annoying for TBL because he wants to go for rest probably, and he goes for Bulk Up again. A really greedy play because he doesn't have Tailwind. So
I think that was no brick break. No brick break for the screens there.
Yeah, I think that's also a little unfortunate, but.
Rage Fist on the
goes for Rage Fist, doesn't even kill at ×2 and being hit once. So really, really unfortunate that AV's putting in a lot of work here. And then a switch out on a Pokemon that's clicked 2 Bulk Ups is a really bad play. Overquill goes down. Even if Annihilate would have come down, then Overquill gets free turn of, or is in the situation where he has Swift Swim and Tailwind's about to end. So really, really poor play there. Annihilate comes back out. Goes for the Rage Fist into Golurk, who barely hangs on, but Icy Wind's able to pick up a kill. And then Psychic's able to kill Annihilate. So it's now a 2v1, and Politoed.
He's away.
Yeah, he kind of has no chance in this situation. Goes for Weather Ball.
Weather Ball. Yeah, no.
Really can't do any
kind
damage.
of a questionable decision to only have Weather Ball against a guy with 2 Weather Setters.
Yeah. Especially
like your rank can be taken away so easily, and like your left stab list.
And yeah, that was a very clean win from Alberto. I mean, he did lose 2 Pokemon, but he felt like he was kind of in a commanding spot the whole time, and game 1 was very swift. So, well played by Alberto, and not TBL's best performance. Let's move on to our final matchup, Charcoal versus Dori Masuda. Pretty interesting, especially because Dori Masuda brought the wrong team. He was going to bring his the matchup, or the team he brought for Charcoal, the team he built for Charcoal, which honestly he sent it was not a great team, and he decided, or he accidentally actually brought his week 3 team, which was a pretty good team, but was built for the wrong wrong matchup. So huge disadvantage for Dori Masuda off start, because I mean he can't change his team, obviously, now that he's committed to playing. He just said, oh, whatever, we'll play on. It is what it is. So, this is the wrong team, but F it. So, immediately, it is a Heracross Dragapult lead, threatening a lot of damage, and probably wants to get a burn up on Heracross. Whereas, Trick Room is pretty unstoppable here, unless he goes for a double up maybe in the Zong. But Follow Me makes that impossible.
Happen.
Yeah, and so, really does a lot of damage, though, and Electrify goes down right away. Though Trick Room does come up, so not necessarily a bad play for Charcoal, but it is giving up a lot for just Trick Room. Good switch there, and a Terra Steel. Protect makes some sense because you're trying to get Burn, and Psychic into the Terra Steel is good, and the Protect is really good from that close combat. In this situation, Reflect coming up is really nice. Just huge Oko there, but he's going to eat the close combat, and now he's in a really bad spot. I think the Facade, or the Headlong there made a lot more sense into the Heracross, though maybe expecting a Hydro Pump as well, and just assuming he would die to, or almost die to either, and so not necessarily a play you can knock Charcoal for making. Though Yeah, because he went for the reflect on Bronzong, that was what enabled him to live the close combat. So, somewhat reasonable play, I guess. Though
Without the Bureau, he has one more turn.
Ensign now comes out, and yeah, Trick Room's running low, and Ursa needs to kind of get out of here because he can't take a fake out. And so he switches into Skeleturge, which does make some sense. Dragable comes out here, and then the fake out is pretty good for Charcoal because he's able to get off free sidekick pretty much. Switch into Heracross, but a Shadow Ball instead of a Torsong means that nice repositioning, good defensive play, and Dragapult's back on the field with Trick Room as Trick Room expires. So really well positioned. Sorry, what were we saying?
Ready to fire Shadow Balls on both ghost types.
Yeah, and so I think I think Dormasuda's in a really good spot here. He's positioning himself very well. Terra Fairy here to survive that, and he still takes a lot of damage, but real Citrus Berry. Can't take another one, though, notably, because of the Spidef drop. And then the Rock Slide does a little bit of damage. Torch Song picks up the kill. And then a flinch on Bronzong is brutal, because Trick Room coming up here would have been really good. It would have been Dragapult in a situation where he can just get Shadow Balled and will die. Ursa in the back, even though he's at 30%, probably get off a kill. Really, really bad situation for Charcoal. Turns an almost guaranteed, or not almost guaranteed, turns a pretty decent win, or a solid chance for a win, to say the least, into a really bad situation. And switches into Ursa here. Really poor play, in my opinion. I think Trick Room and then let Skeleturge come down, and then let Ursa get one turn to, like, do some damage, I think is the play. But does not go for that. Instead, he goes for a Shadow Ball into Zong, and then Flare Blitz. So loses both here. Ursa isn't even able to get off an attack because it's already burned. So Skeleturge comes out, and it's just very easily dies to the Shadow Ball. So I think that play was really unlucky for Charcoal, but he also made a poor play the turn after he got unlucky, and so that's probably more so what lost him the set, in my opinion. But that flinch was really annoying, to say the least. Now, in Game 2, we'll see how Charcoal adapts against Dormasuda.
With Snarl.
And it's a very different lead here. Sorry, let me just remind myself of the turn 1. Yeah, so it replaces the Heracross with the Ensign, really good into these two physical Pokemon, and it is the Grimmsnarl Quavel lead on Charcoal's side. Fake Out makes a lot of sense here, because no Fake Out from the Ensign side now. And Thunder is pretty cool. I don't really understand, actually, the Thunder too much. Why he... Oh, it's because he was playing a rain team last week,
TBL.
I think. Yeah,
TBL.
And so that's that's why he has Thunder on it instead of like Thunderbolt. But the triple axle, because he's intimidated, probably won't kill, and it doesn't. So a close combat, or at least I think an Aqua Step in Ensign maybe would have been the best play here theoretically. Just so you outspeed the Dragon now, and then you can go for triple axle still. But instead, he's now in a situation where he gets outsped. Goes for the Thunder Wave into the Dragon Bolt so that Quaquaval can outspeed it. But it's a switch into Rotom. The miss doesn't matter because it's immune anyways. And the triple axle does nothing. So really good switching from Dormasuda, and too aggressive of a play on Charcoal's end. As U-turn is great positioning, Dragon Bolt's able to come back out in the field. And this is something that we've seen, we saw last game from Dormasuda, but just really good positioning. He's able to switch out Dragon Bolt and switch him back in on the same turn very safely. And it sets him up for Dragon Bolt's now still a threat. So he switches him out into Ensign, meaning he's immune to the Thunder Wave, if it is in fact Thunder Wave. So both of these Pokemon are now immune to Thunder Wave. No one takes particularly a lot of damage from a Spirit Break, especially not at -2. So really good positioning by Dormasuda. Is able to switch out into the Heracross, get a free burn up, and the Spirit Break does almost nothing into Ensign because he is at -2 and it's neutral. He was trying to trying to pick up a kill on Dragapult, but Dormasuda's positioned himself very well. And a double burn here. Switching to Rotom Wash just to reset that Intimidate and the Fake Out, and the -1. parting shot into the Heracross just to try and position himself so that it's Skeledirge and Ursaluna on the field, and it's -1 Heracross. But instead, really poor situation for Charcoal to be in. Dormisuda is just really playing well in this game. And then Rock Slide does a little bit of damage. Hydro Pump does a lot into Skeledirge, but he's able to eat back up. Spirit Break, expecting a switch probably, maybe just trying to weaken Rotom Wash's special attack, hard to say. And then Torch Song just picks up a big OHKO. So not a bad situation for Charcoal necessarily, but Dormisuda feels like he's definitely has the upper hand here. Especially with no way to set Trick Room on Charcoal's end. Not even bringing Bronzong this set. Ursaluna just hard switches in. Fake out into the Skeledirge, so great read there. And Skeledirge, -1 speed doesn't really matter because Dormisuda outspeeds, but Charcoal's not in a really fun situation here. I think it's looking really dire for him. So I actually remember this play very vividly because I think this is an incredible play by Dormisuda. He Volt switches into the Skeledirge, right? So he switches into Dragapult, then U-turns into the Ursaluna to send out Rotom Wash. Now, what this play accomplishes is that if he went for a Facade into the Rotom Wash, it's now a Dragapult. So he's going to be immune to it. If he went for a Headlong Rush into the Incineroar, it's now Rotom Wash, so he's immune to it. So he has to predict a switch-in by going for Facade into the Incin, which is just worse than Headlong. Probably doesn't OHKO. Maybe it does. But either way.
Does.
Yeah, maybe it does. But he could switch out from Incin to Dragapult. So it's just like a really tough situation. You have to either make a read by going for Headlong into a Mon with Levitate, which was the Rotom, right? Or you have to, the only good play is going for Facade, which could be a Dragapult switch in, or could potentially not kill. But either way, just only one good play on Charcoal's end, really. Forces him to be in a terrible situation, and I think...
Even then, even clicking Facade on Incineroar wasn't safe because the Dragapult could have switched in on the Incineroar slot.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's just, there's no... Like, the Facade into Rotom Wash was the best play, but it doesn't feel safe for Charcoal, so really I was thinking, like, Headlong into the Rotom makes sense, but because of the double switch, actually wouldn't have done anything, so... Incredible positioning from Dormisuda's end, and he does in fact go for the Headlong. So great play there by Dormisuda. As we see a fake out there, Draco picks up the kill. So really, Grimmsnarl doesn't accomplish that much, and yeah, it's very lost for Charcoal. He's able to survive that, but he will die to the Rotom. So that's that, and Juvie said exactly what I was thinking. That was definitely a Elysium-worthy performance from Dormisuda, especially
we're bringing the wrong team.
Yeah, as Spam noted in the chat, really really impressive stuff. I think the wrong team thing kind of helped him here because he would have brought a pretty bad team, and like especially he was running Swarm plus Flame Orb, which means he wouldn't have gotten the Guts boost. So
Oops.
like his team into Charcoal actually was worse than the team into
EBL.
Yeah, in this matchup. So it wasn't a huge disadvantage, but still, it might increase your nerves being like caught off guard with the fact that you're bringing the wrong team. He said Coughing was pretty much a dead slot. I think Coughing probably didn't do too much here, even though Neutralizing Gas is pretty good into Charcoal's team, and that's something Charcoal has to look out for. It really, I assume its moveset couldn't do too much here. But I think Dormisuda just played really, really well, and I think that's why he's a really strong Elysium contender. Unfortunately, with how we structure Elysium and Fields of Punishment now, I'm not really going to let you have as much of a say, Eternum.
Sure.
But like I would normally ask you to make a call, but you can make suggestions. I don't think I deserved it at all because of that game one. I definitely didn't deserve it. I don't deserve Fields of Punishment because I ended up winning, and I played decently these two games, but
it's a fine tough game for both players.
Yeah, I think we both played well, so neither or well enough. So I don't think either Soup or Wah deserves it. Deserves either, even though they both played well. Again, it was just way too close of a matchup for anyone to to really deserve it. I think Pilza made a few bad plays here and there, but I wouldn't say it was Fields of Punishment worthy, for sure. And Saibon, I don't think played well enough to really be considered for Elysium. I think you played pretty well overall, but I would lean more towards that being the fault of Oedipus's than
Oedipus being predictable.
yeah. I think because he had gone for the Infernate Metagross lead a lot and the Rillaboom Driftbloom. I think
Yeah, and I just called him out for it. I mean, that's kind of like worthy of praise. Just being able to analyze an opponent beforehand.
yeah. I mean that is I will say that is something that like could be considered Elysium worthy, but it felt like you just kind of made a lot of like standard play. You didn't make any play that really like wowed me.
Yeah, nothing
necessarily.
crazy. Yeah,
and
nothing
so,
crazy. I just played besides the Psychic Terrain play on Espeon, and there was nothing too crazy.
yeah, but you did play very well, and I mean you won 2-0, so that's that matters more than Elysium. I think Alberto played pretty well, and TBL is definitely a contender for Fields of Punishment just because of
that tailwind, bro.
setting. I mean, I think it doesn't really make sense to click Tailwind in front of these two guys.
Like, no, just at turn 1-0. Okay, clicking Follow Me into Slowking and Dusclops. What the hell were they gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, Follow Me just to protect and make sure that you get off the Tailwind is fine, but the idea of going for Tailwind at all is just a mistake.
Not just that. Just even if they double targeted it, it would still have going the Tailwind because Masquerain was faster than both.
Yeah.
And Masquerain staying on the field would be a bad thing in that because it's like, let's say if Dusclops and Slowking attacked Masquerain, Annihilate at 3 and 3. And no Trick Room was up.
Yeah, I really don't think that was a great play on TBL's end, and it felt like he kind of couldn't do anything here. At this point, it's like kind of not his fault. Like it was already over.
At this point, it's GG's. Like you said the Tailwind, and Preezy got 3 and 3.
Yeah, and I think this is more. This was more of Alberto having a really good Pokemon into TBL's like team, just because like. He didn't bring those water types that are the only things that resist it, and even then, it's only Politoed that resists.
Politoed didn't even come to game 1.
Plus some of the Terra
Politoed only had, and Politoed didn't even have like a standard water move to click. It only had Weather Ball against that team with 2 ways to set snow.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a mistake on TBL's end.
And also, if you check the, there was a debacle about the Masquerain EVs.
What about him?
Yeah, no, it's a Sash Mon with like a shit ton of bulk.
Oh yeah, he ran almost max HP on the Masquerain, which is when it's Sash, really unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think this was like a little bit better played by TBL, but he gets greedy by going for another bulk up here, even though he wasn't expecting the confusion. Still going for another bulk up there doesn't.
The confusion already happened by the second time, by the first time. Like the first bulk up, confusion already happened.
No.
Wait.
No, he goes for a Hurricane and then it pops it and then he goes for bulk up. So.
Second bulk up.
Yeah, he bulks up this turn. So it's the same turn as the confusion.
Oh, I see.
Either way,
pretty greedy in front of a Talonflame.
I think in this situation, even if you don't expect special Talonflame, which fair, I wouldn't, right? You go for Pop Bomb, meaning you're not protecting the Annihilate from either, instead of Follow Me. And Ninetales is a Fairy type. I mean, he could be clicking D-Gleam even, but Moonblast would do a lot into Annihilate here, and he certainly outspeeds, right? So I think Annihilate's in a very susceptible situation.
Oh, wait, he does outspeed. The Ninetales has the Tailwind up.
Wait.
Tailwind's on the Talonflame side. Is
one note from Saibon. I don't think he might have called me out on this. I don't think we watched Saline versus Juvie. I think I forgot that one.
We might have.
Yeah.
Nope.
Wait.
We forgot these guys.
Wait, we must have.
Pull one game at a time. Just pull one game at a time, so we don't. If you pull 2 games or 3 games, there's already a spoiler.
Yeah.
Just pull one at a time.
Yeah, I know. But
All right.
thank you so much for that call out, Saibon.
Damn, Saibon's been carrying this thing on his back.
Yeah, thank you, Saibon, for calling me out. I made a huge mistake by not doing that, so thank you. I didn't want to skip anyone. I just want to double check. I'm almost guarantee that he's right. Actually,
You hear that, DBL? There's a chance you might be saved from Field of Punishment this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the weeds if we haven't watched it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's. It is a Passimian Salamence lead versus Jolteon Scrafty, and so a lot of things that can happen here. With the fake out is obviously the most predictable threat. Terra Ice maybe.
Yeah, what's the Terra on the Jolt? Go back up.
It's Terra
Jolt has
Ghost.
Terra Ghost.
It's
All
probably
right,
Terra
no,
Ghost, Terra Blast for the Jolt and Go.
Yeah. No,
And then
Terra
Defiant
Ice
is
from
activated on the Passimian. Another thing to note. Protect on Salamence. Probably expecting a fake out, which it is. And then Alluring Voice Okos. Wow. And this is a Terra fighting Passimian. So I assume he must be Scarf on Passimian if he's willing to stay in front of this.
Probably banded because Scarf Passimian would be trying to outspeed the Jolteon at the very least.
Well, exactly, and so that's what I expected. But given the fact that he got outspit by Jolteon, I assume now that he wasn't. I think it was probably a poor play on.
Poor play or choice band.
Yeah, thank you once again, Saibon, for.
Yeah.
I'm a really great host, as you can tell. But Passimian goes down, and now Jolteon Joe is just in a situation where we have two Pokemon that can hit him super effectively with Shadow Ball and any knockoff or something like that. So it is a Protect on Jolteon Joe's side. Alluring Voice is a lot into Salamence, who can set Tailwind and Nice Protect on the knockoff.
Jolteon might be specs, just for the damage alone.
Make It Rain does not do a whole lot there. He had already Terra'd, I believe. Yeah, so going for Hurricane there was probably just his best damaging move, but if he had Draco, would have been for sure the play into either one of these guys, really. Would have been fine. But
maybe they didn't want to deal with it.
Maybe he thought it killed and it's AV Scrafty. That could be what it is.
Yeah.
Because AV Scrafty, I don't think he would take 54 for that. I think he probably takes a little bit more.
Yeah, way more from Make It Rain.
So it does make sense that he wasn't anticipating that. And then Salamence goes down as Jolteon goes forced to eat the knockoff here. And with Metal Coat, yeah, it does reveal that it is in fact AV on Scrafty. But not a great situation for the Jolteon, so he switches it out. Fake out here, meaning Jolteon is able to get off a free Shadow Ball.
It was Rocky Helm on the Scrafty.
Oh wow! It must be a very special.
Max Def. Yeah, Max Def.
It must be. I would imagine. I mean, maybe Max Attack, Max Def, but I feel like it has to be pretty especially bulky at least.
Real.
But nice Shadow Ball onto the Arch and reveals that it is in fact Sturdy Arch, because Stalwart does not make any sense into this team. So it because of the no stamina boost, it is Sturdy Archaludon here, meaning it's probably Power Herb as well. You can probably assume, and that means Protect is a viable option on Arch. Protect on Jolteon Go does not make a lot of sense here, because you have one more turn of Tailwind. So here, your Tailwind runs out and you can't even click Protect. So a pretty bad spot to be in.
Actually, that is the fastest thing on the field, surprisingly.
Well, it just means he's probably max speed, which is not too surprising given the fact that he is a sturdy, right? He's probably max speed, max special attack with Power Herb. Pretty standard set on Archaludon. Not something that is run as much in draft. Definitely, I actually never ran that set once, season 1, despite Archaludon being the MVP season 1. But it's a very, I mean, as Archaludon has kind of evolved and how in the current Reg F format, especially if you ever see Archaludon, but even in more recent Reg H formats, Archaludon is typically run with Sturdy Power Herb. Really good, just Okos that Golden Go and gives himself a special attack boost while wow, Berserker does a lot of damage, but it's not enough. And with these two Pokemon versus the one, very easy kind of win for for Saline here. Though, one thing to note is that Azu got Berserker Load just so Archaludon could steal the kill. And he didn't go for close. I think he had close combat. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he didn't go for that into the Archaludon on the previous turn. He went for Iron Head into the Azu. So really just stat padding on Archaludon's side.
Yeah.
Let's move now to game 2.
Game 2.
And yeah, we'll see how they both treat it differently. So Sylveon and Berserker on the lead, very different lead here.
Leads.
And an incredibly different lead as well on the Pelipper Beartic. Though, first thing you have to consider, Covert Cloak Pelipper, Terra Ghost Beartic for the fake out. Just immediate. That's my first thought, right? Because Berserker is a steel type, or sorry, not is a steel type. Is a fake out user. So Terra Ghost right away, and then fake out into the Terra Ghost. Really good play by Juvie there. And Heavy Slam just gets big damage off, and Pelipper can either set Tailwind or do a lot with Weather Ball, and that's what he chooses to do here. And Golden Go comes out, makes actually smarter play not going for the Tailwind there because Beartic is faster than everything else on Salion's side, and so it's now a Golden Go, but in front of a Terra Ghostmon, meaning Ghost type attack could do a lot in Golden Go here. And it is a Shadow Ball, picks up the Oko into Golden Go. And then Weather Ball picks up the kill, and now just really, really bad spot for Salion to be in. And then Icicle Crash comes out, and Hurricane should clean this up, even though Beartic does go down. Very, very clean win for Juvie yet again. And man, who is going to stop Juvie? Juvie is now 4-0 and has not dropped a game all season. I will say, Saibon is in the same position where they're both 4-0, both newcomers and both friends. And they are both undefeated. Now,
Oh great! So this means I have to fight another Saibon.
now, I will say, Week 5 is set to be maybe the most intense, interesting week yet in terms of matchups. There are a lot of good ones, but particularly, I am playing Saibon, and I'm the number 3 team, he's the number 2 team, and Charcoal is playing Juvie. And Charcoal and I are good friends, and we help each other with mocks, and I don't know if Saibon and Juvie help each other, but they are both 2 great players, and they're friends. So it's pretty funny that I'm playing Saibon and Charcoal's playing Juvie. Hopefully, that means, and I'm going to make this prediction now, that one of either Saibon or Juvie will not be undefeated by the end of Week 5.
Better put an effort to that one.
Yeah, I need to lock in because I have not started prep yet. I have a lot going on in real life. But
So, does these replays change anything about the Fields of Punishment and Elysium?
I think it does because I was already a little bit hesitant to give TBL the Fields of Punishment. Honestly, I think after he made one bad play of clicking Tailwind. Other than that, he was just kind of in a situation where he couldn't really win game 2 or game 1, and so like
The unwinnable game 1, but then I say game 2 he also played poorly.
he went for the one bulk up again, but like that was kind of like the one bad, and that even then not necessarily a bad play. He got unlucky because he lost the Lum and he wasn't able to go for rest. So,
Makes sense.
like this is a reasonable play to protect him. He goes for Rage Fist and does a lot of damage. I mean, like, pretty reasonable plays all around. It was just
feels like the prep
2
was
bad
weak,
plays, and
Yeah.
I think it makes Alberto made it seem like those were horrible plays and TBL played horribly just because of how convincingly he won. But really, I don't think TBL played that poorly. It was just a few bad moments.
Feels like he should have brought Big Break.
Yeah, I think he could have anticipated a little bit more, but he didn't, and that's not anything super crazy.
Yeah, alright.
I will note that Pilza's match felt a little similar to Saibon's, where Pilza played pretty decently overall, but he had a few, like 2 or 3 bad turns, and Saibon punished it and made it look like it wasn't close. Same thing with Alberto TBL. I think Alberto played very well, made TBL look like he didn't play well, just because of a few bad plays on TBL's part. And so that's why I wouldn't really consider Pilza or TBL for Fields of Punishment as much.
You have the final say.
Yeah, I think if say we didn't watch the Saline Juvie matchup, I might have honestly said no Fields of Punishment because I don't think TBL played poorly enough to deserve it this week anyways. But after watching Salion's matchup, I think that he is a contender for sure. Just kind of, especially because the Beartic Terra Ghost has been run in previous weeks, and so not even paying mind to the fact that he's Terra Ghost and just going for the fake out right away and getting really punished for it.
It feels like Iron Head was a safer play there. Like if it terrors, you still hit it hard. If it doesn't terror, it dies to Iron Head.
Yeah, I think that does make some sense, and just kind of not paying respect to a Pokemon that's very strong which has the speed doubled. I think he should have paid more respect to that. No Protect on Sylveon.
No real way to counter like Rain either.
Yeah, I think he was a little unprepared for that. He had Hurricane on Salamence, I believe, but that's kind of like the one move that he had to play into it, and no real way to counter it.
Yeah, no thunders on stuff.
Yeah, our Golden Ghost can get thunder. I know.
No sunny day or even no sunny day to try to stop it.
Yeah, I think was a little bit of a mistake, in prep on Salion's side, and also like just turn 1 here, he just like dies to Alluring Voice right away, and and then the turn after, he Salamence just sits in front of the field after Alluring Voice was already clicked.
I guess I'm convinced. Sorry, TBL, I was rough on you.
It's all good. But I think also Salion has kind of shown that he is a good player, and Juvie has the effect of making good players look terrible. I think that's kind of what he did here. I don't think Salion is a bad player by any means, but he certainly didn't look great in this matchup. And it felt like, unlike someone like Pilza or TBL's matchup, where it was a few turns where it turned a somewhat close matchup into not close at all. It never felt particularly close in this one, just because even though, in this situation, it looks like, okay, well, even though I have 2 Pokemon left, I could maybe claw it back.
It feels like Juvie started flexing on them and couldn't even get punished for doing that.
Yeah, it felt like Juvie should have, or 3 Pokemon left here, 3 Pokemon left here, and all at good health. It felt like, actually, only 2 Pokemon were revealed game 3 or game 2.
Yeah, the bear did everything while Pelipper cleaned up.
So I think this is Salion's Fields of Punishment. I will say that I've said this before. Salion is a great player. He has, in the last few weeks and kind of all season to an extent, not really played in a way that reflects his skill. I think SMB looked like that before he played me this week. He was not at all playing at the level that he is as a player. So Salion, I'm not exactly sure what it is, or maybe he's just, his team I think is one of the weaker teams. Definitely a hard team to pilot, just because there's no obvious strategy. There's no real form of speed control other than Trick Room, Meowscarada, and Tailwind Salamence are literally his only 2 speed control options. And Icy Wind Blastoise, I guess. But feels like a pretty a tough situation for Salion. I think he can turn it around.
Feels like Blastoise would have been good on this matchup.
Well,
Terra Grass Blastoise, maybe.
Yeah, Jolteon's pretty into it, and with Terra Grass, you open yourself up to Beartic, especially Pelipper. You open yourself up too. So,
but just the fact that that Blastoise can fake out and do some and pressure the water types.
Yeah, I think there's a few ways he could have approached this differently, but
yeah.
I am hopeful that and I do genuinely believe Salion will turn it around. And he's only 2-2, or I think he's 2-2 at this point. So it's not like he's a terrible team. It's not like he's playing terribly. It's just that he's not playing up to his potential, especially the potential we saw season 1. He had by far the most broken team season 1. But he still went 7-1, and he still played very well. So it wasn't just that he had a good team. He's a great player. He's shown flashes of it, but we're still kind of waiting for him to return to that form, and I think he will.
Yeah, these rough patches will come to pass.
Yeah, I think so too. So anyways, for Elysium, I think there are a few people who played pretty well. I think Juvie has played consistently well, though. This is a little bit of a similar theme to AMLO Dude from season 2 of Phalanx, where it was his wins are not necessarily him significantly outplaying his opponent. It's him having a strong or him playing well generally. Making a few good plays, and his opponent's not really being prepared or having a great way of stopping his team. And so he wins pretty handily, and he's playing very well, but it's not necessarily Elysium worthy. And so, like, for that reason, I wouldn't consider him as much, even though, again, he's literally undefeated in the sense of all games and sets. He's playing very well, but I wouldn't consider him, like, for Elysium for that reason. I definitely don't deserve it. I don't think Wad deserves it. I don't think Saibon really deserves it for the reasons I mentioned. Alberto as well. I don't really think. Again, I think the pretty clear standout is Dori Masuda, in my opinion. I think he played very, very well all around, but I think the most impressive play was this one where he positioned himself in a situation where Charcoal had really bad options all around. Headlong was the play I would have made that turn. But I don't think the entire set, even though Charcoal wasn't really playing too poorly, it felt like Dora Masuda was just playing really well. There was the one lucky rock slide flinch on this turn, I believe, where he's able to flinch the Bronzong and stop him from setting up Trick Room, which could have put Charcoal in a winning situation, and realistically would have put Charcoal in a winning situation, though it is a little bit hard to say just because even if Trick Room is up here, there are ways of going about shutting him down. I think Charcoal probably wins this, but given the fact that 130% chance was all it took for this to look like a masterclass from Dora Masuda, it's not necessarily something to focus too much on. I think Dora Masuda definitely earns it, so he will be the winner of Elysium this week. Congrats. I will also note that Dora Masuda has shown significant improvement. I think week 1 and maybe another week, either week 2 or 3. I think maybe week 2. I can't remember which. But he did not look very, very good, honestly. He wasn't playing very well. He didn't feel very confident. He felt like, I think he is new to doubles or drafts, or one of the two. But either way, I think new to or returning after not playing for a while. And it showed a little bit, but oh my goodness, has he looked good in the last few weeks. I mean, his performance against Saline looked really good. His performance this week looked really good. I think he has shown tremendous improvement. Someone kind of like Pilza, in my opinion, who has shown a lot of growth. That and just so quickly. I mean, we're only halfway done the season. He's already looking so good compared to week 1 that it's really incredible. And so I think very, very impressed by him and how he's been able to improve. And again, just so quickly. That's really admirable. So great work, Dora Masuda. And now let us move to the spreadsheet. So we can look at the standings. We can see that Juvie and Saibon are the 2 undefeated teams, neither of which have dropped a game. Very impressive stuff. And Saibon is behind on the kill differential because he wasn't able to. He had a forfeit win, so that's really the only reason he's behind. But he and Juvie are the 2 clear top dogs. I'm actually the only 3-1 team, which is pretty funny. So we only have 3 teams with a winning record. Something to note. But Eternum, you are number 4, the only one with a positive game differential out of the 2-2 players, and a lot of 2-2 players.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7. 7 2-2 players. Then we have the 3 1-3s, and Oedipus, who is 0-4. I think this is something I say pretty much every week, but especially early in the season. But things can change very quickly and very easily. I don't think anyone who's towards the bottom should give up at all. I mean, Charcoal's a great player. He's 2-2 this week, and he's playing Sidebond this week, so he could easily be 2-3, right? But he's a great player, and I could still easily see him making playoffs. So, Soup, totally unreflective of his record. He's 1-3, but he's been playing super well. Nick taking over SMB's team could change it up quite a bit. Made a lot of improvements in my opinion. Easily could rise in the rankings yet again. Table, I mean, just everyone really who has been playing in a way where the record is not really reflective of their performances, and a lot of people also have had 2 good weeks and 2 bad weeks, right? And that almost everyone's 2-2. So I think that's also a something to note, that people will have some off weeks, but if we'll see who is able to kind of consistently have more of those good weeks throughout the rest of the season. I think the playoff race is incredibly open as of right now. There is a little bit of separation, actually quite a bit of separation from Juvie and Saivon at this point. Even if they both lose this week, theoretically, which I don't think both of them will, but even if both of them do, they're still in contention for the 1 seed or the 2 seed at least. And how our league works with, for those of you who don't know, with playoffs, the reason 8 out of 14 teams make playoffs, which is over half, instead of doing 6 out of 14, we decided to do, or maybe 7 with like a bye or something like that. We don't like byes. The way we decided to do it, we have 8. So the top 4 teams get to choose from the bottom 4 playoff teams who they want to play in order of seed. So Juvie gets his first pick at Pilza, Saline, Alberto, or Wa. And once he picks them, then let's say he picks Pilza, that means Pilza obviously can't be chosen again. So Saibon gets his next choice out of these 3. He picks Saline, and then I have to pick between Alberto and Wa. And let's say I pick Alberto, then Turnham is stuck playing Wa, right? So that's how it works. Just for those of you who don't know, and that's why it's an advantage being the 1 seed.
Funny story about a draft with playoff decide rank 1 fights rank 8 in general. The thing is, I once had a draft where I was number 1, and I forfeited my last week just to get a better matchup in playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that's a little dumb, honestly. I don't think
that's completely. I had to forfeit to have the chance to have a better matchup because I hated the matchup I was matched up against him in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
that was the one guy I lost to.
And the big thing too is that Juvie is now able. Let's say he is the rain team, right? And let's see, he wants to play Alberto because he thinks, even though this guy is a snow team, I can shut down a snow, and then out of snow he's bad, or something like that. Or Saline doesn't have a great way of stopping rain, as I just showed it as I beat him. So maybe I play him again because I don't think he has a great way of stopping my team. Or maybe Saline, I played Saline, and I don't like the fact that I've already kind of revealed my answers to him, and so I want to avoid him again. Like there's kind of a lot of ways to think about it. And Juvie has the reward as being first place, has the reward of choosing which matchup sounds better for him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why the top 3 are ideal. But even then, the 4th means you can't be picked by one of those top 3 teams, and that's a real reward for being 4th as well.
That's the real reward, avoiding these 3.
The difference between 5 and 8 is really nothing. The difference between 8 and everyone else is that, I mean, you make playoffs, but there still is a difference between all of these top 4 and then between those top 4 and 5th. So I think it means that the team is at the top still really have to try, and it means that someone like Saibon having that forfeit win means that his kill differential is a little different. So even if they both end 8-0, like season 2, I ended 8-0, AMLO ended 8-0, but I had 3 forfeit wins and he had 0, or maybe he had 1. But I think he had 30 something kill differential, and I had not 11, but I had in the 10s, right? Or in the teens. So he was able to very easily pass me in the standings, even though we had the same record. Something Saibon might have to look out for just because of that, but you can still see that it's a very close race nonetheless. So getting the wins are more important. And for all of these 2-2 players, which there are a lot of, it means you're 1 win away from having a winning record. I'm 1 loss away from being in the same book as like half of these 2-2 teams. So still a very, very close playoff race. And that's why I mean, I say this every week, but that's why I love the league. It's just a really close league, a lot of good competition. And I think people are generally pretty evenly matched. So looking forward to seeing how things progress over the weeks. I will be hopefully soon, as soon as I can, be updating the power rankings, which I will be making a video on talking about kind of why they've changed. Though I will say, I wouldn't expect them to change. I wouldn't expect them to change as much, just because I did a pretty good job ranking them, especially compared to the standings. So it probably won't change too much, but that will be dropping soon. The week 4 video will also be dropping hopefully tomorrow, though I do have to write a paper, so maybe not. But it means that that we should have a lot more content coming out soon, and a lot of really fun situations or opportunities for people to switch up kind of their position in the rankings and really solidify themselves in playoffs or fight to get back in contention if they're not. So with that being said, a tournament.
The MVP race, the MVPs.
Oh yeah, MVP. Yeah. We can take a look at that as well.
Our children going 15-0. Jesus Christ.
Let me just. Is there a way I can? Okay, never mind. Yeah. So we have. Sorry that it's scuffed for the viewers, but I didn't even realize it. But Hisui and Samurott is actually now at number 2, despite only being brought 3 weeks. That's really cool. Only 1 kill behind Arcaludon. That is really impressive. Go Samurott. Even though he died immediately game 1. Go him. Juvie has Arcaludon. And you can see Juvie's, his next best Pokemon is Jolteon at 20. And then you got to keep scrolling. And then you have Pelipper and Beartick at 37, 38. But like, it's really just the Arcaludon show. And then Jolteon's looked good in 2 particular matchups. Charcoal having Skeletor up here, even though he's technically, if the playoffs were to end today, out of contention. You can see Soup has 2 Pokemon in the top 6, which is really impressive. And the Porygons are next to each other, which is really funny on the leaderboard. So yeah, other than that, I don't think there's any too many surprises. Rotom Heat is actually a little surprising, the fact that he's that high. And the fact that
I might have been responsible for that one. My bad.
Passimian being this high. This was something I mentioned that I thought was really impressive. Hydrapple being this high is a testament to how well Soup has been playing. I mean, Soup having 2 Pokemon top 6. Look at these standings. He's number 11 in the standings, and he has 2 Pokemon up here. That just shows you
can't quite close the games off.
Yeah, it shows you that he is a great player despite what the record suggests. So. Stats don't tell the whole picture. Just something to keep in mind. And Salient also has he has Passimian up here, he has Salamence, and he has Blastoise, all top 20. So a lot of good people. Pilza has Kingambit number 9, which is quite nice. TBL has Politoed and Annihilate, kind of showing his 2 modes off pretty well. I think Charcoal having a Skeletor number 3 is really crazy, but also having Ursaluna up there is really nice. Literally in last place we have Oedipus with Primarina still top 15. So just means that certain people, no matter kind of your success, you are able to have to be in contention.
Personally, I'm a Nisui 9 merchant.
Yeah, you have Hisui and Arcanine, and then
next
I scrolled down way too far. Then Kilowattrel, then Espeon, yeah. I will also say that while having Houndstone at 4-0 with 1 game is really impressive. And then you can see the best mon with 2 games is Alberto with Porygon Z. Best mon with 3 games is Samurott, and the best mon with 4 is Arcaludon. Just another fun thing to note. Samurott is a C-tier Pokemon, also being up here. Hydrapple is a C-tier Pokemon. Skeletor is a B-tier Pokemon. Rotom Heat is a B-tier Pokemon. Politoed's a B tier Pokemon. Passimian's like a D tier Pokemon, I think. So all of these mid to even slightly low tier Pokemon up here is really, really impressive. And I think everyone who can get one of these kind of Pokemon up here should be proud of themselves. I mean, or maybe they just identified a Pokemon that should be slightly higher. Like Hisuian and Samurott, maybe he could be a B tier, right? He's at the top of C, but he could have been B maybe. Passimian's making a great argument for being a C tier Mon at least. So just something to note. But yeah, with that, any final thoughts, Eternal?
Think I'll be trying to make playoffs myself and try to get inch closer to the top 3, because I'm not. I might be number 4, but I'm quite lumped in with all of the 2-2 guys.
Yeah.
Trying to change that.
If you can just get like kind of one more win under your belt, then you're in a situation where you have to lose twice to be under 500, right? And that's a really good situation to be in. And I mean, you were at the top of the 2-2s, so you're in a situation where you have the better tiebreaker. So not a bad spot to be in at all. I like having that little cushion because now I'm 3 games away from having a losing record. But even in this current situation, you don't necessarily want to have a neutral record because you have 2-2 teams that are set to miss playoffs, right? So you're gonna probably, if you want to guarantee playoffs, you better have a winning record. And if you're going to have a neutral record, you have to be pretty good in the games won department too. So it's it really puts a lot of pressure on those kind of middle teams to get some success. And if you get one loss, you're in a situation where you kind of have to claw your way back, though still definitely possible to make it back from there. You should have to go 2-1 the last few weeks and do so convincingly. So
we'll see how this plays up in week 5.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this week 5 goes, and we are in for a treat with some matchups. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Always fun to do these streams, and I hope you guys will enjoy the next few weeks as much as I will. Peace.